everyone, my name is Leanne and today I'm going to be doing the genre book tag, which was originally created by Harriet Rosie. I'll leave her video linked down below in the description if you want to check out. Harriet is like the queen of original tags, and this is such a simple tag, but I think it gives such a great prompt to talk about all things genre related. I have the questions on my phone, so I'm just going to jump straight into them. The first of those is just to talk about your favourite genres. So I would say I have a lot of favourite genres. In terms of non-fiction, the kind of non-fiction I like is anything to do with sex, relationships, feminism, gender, and sport. They're my favourite non-fiction genres. Poetry, female-focused, political, slam, rhyme-heavy poetry. My favourite genres in fiction, I would say, are like broadly literary fiction, but not like massively literary. Book club fiction. I really like book club fiction. Contemporary women's fiction with a slight literary edge, and issue-focused YA. Question 2 is your least favourite genres. So hard sci-fi and high fantasy. I like kind of speculative and dystopian science fiction, but as soon as anything's in space, I stop caring. High fantasy with really complicated world building and complex magic systems. I just really can't. I think I'm just a bit like, the world we live in now is so fascinating and there are so many ideas we haven't explored in this world. Why do we need to explore other ones? And I realise that the things that are often explored in these genres are actually reflective of our own contemporary society. I just don't care about dwarves. That's all it is. I don't care about dwarves. I don't care about elves. Dragons are kind of cool. Spaceships, I have no interest in. There are some sci-fi books that I've enjoyed and there are some fantasy books I've enjoyed, but for the most part, no. Question 3 is a genre that you want to try, and for this I'm gonna reluctantly say historical fiction. I have read some historical fiction in the past. I have previously read some historical fiction to differing degrees of success, but specifically what I'm talking about is like kings and queens, 1800s and before historical fiction, like really historical fiction. Right, basically everyone's going on about Hilary Mantel. I don't even know when Hilary Mantel's books are set, but she's having a real moment, and I've never read Wolf Hall, Bring Up the Bodies, her new book. I just haven't, and they scare me and they're massive. Now when you talk about the premise of them, they really don't appeal to me, but everyone keeps telling me that they're so good. I feel like I'm the one in the wrong and maybe I should try it. Should I read some Hilary Mantel? Leave me a comment down below and let me know if you think it's worth it. Of course you think it's worth it. Everyone loves Hilary Mantel apart from me, and I feel left out. Question 4 is a genre you don't want to try. Don't have any real interest in horror. I read some James Herbert a couple years ago and I didn't hate it, but I was just like, oh, I don't know what I'm getting out of this. I don't like being scared. Like, I don't like reading about gross stuff or violence. I think you can read books that are about unpleasant experiences and gain something and learn something from them. But I don't get reading about unpleasant experiences just for the sake of it, which I feel like is what horror kind of is. Question 5 is a genre that you're not sure about, and for me, I think this will always be thrillers. I always try. Every time Thrillerathon comes along, which is also hosted by Harriet, I really try. People who are into thrillers are like so into thrillers. And again, I want to be involved. I don't like being left out. And there are like a really small section of thrillers that I've enjoyed. I really liked Big Little Lies and I really liked Sweet Pea. But even when I read like other books that are meant to be like similar than that and have a bit of a genre blend that might make them more accessible for me, I don't like them. I just haven't cracked the formula for me in thrillers yet, but I know there are going to be more thrillers out there that I like, and I will keep trying. I did mention genre blends just then, and the next question is a genre blend that you love. And while I said I didn't like high fantasy, something that I really enjoy is middle grade fantasy. Pages & Co. by Anna James, the Nevermore series by Jessica Townsend, Helena Duggan's middle grade books. I just love middle grade fantasy, which is like why it's such an interesting genre blend for me is I don't massively love middle grade that isn't fantasy, and I don't massively love fantasy that isn't middle grade. Like it's like this middle of a Venn diagram that I just love. There's a bit more whimsy to it. The like magical fantastical elements are like taken a bit less seriously, and I think because it's a middle grade book as well, you are entering into this world often through a child who is also entering it for the first time, so you're seeing that new world together, as opposed to just being like dropped in a fantasy world like you might be in a high fantasy novel. Another genre blend that I really love is like romance with a literary edge. So like your Sally Rooney's, to be honest, if you gave normal people punctuation marks and it wasn't published by Faber, it would be contemporary women's fiction. And the final question is a genre-defying book. And for this, I'm definitely going for Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. I read this book years ago, and like I still think about it all of the time. This is a post-apocalyptic novel that is also just about like the nature of humanity and art. It's about what is important to people when the world is ending, and even though like it is post-apocalyptic, it's actually not like about that. It's about it's about what we value in our relationships and what we value in ourselves. It's about how people express love for one another. While it's like post-apocalyptic, it doesn't have any of the like tropes of that genre that have become overused. It's just so good. I really should reread it. I've not reread it since the first time I read it, because I also read this at like a really important point in my life where I was thinking about all these things. I feel like Station 11 is one of those books that when you mention it, a lot of people go like, oh yeah, I've always meant to read that. People recommend it all the time. Yes, go read it. I feel like I got really intense in this tag. They are all of my answers to the genre book tag. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what your favourite kind of genre is. I would love to hear your answers, and if you agree or disagree with me about any of my feelings about these genres, make sure you go and check out Harriet's video if you haven't already. She's just one of the most amazing creators. I hope you guys are doing well, and I will talk to you in my next video.